Hey guys, what is going on, RedMaster, and welcome back to episode of Casting Conflicts for you today. We've got a great match lined up, so without much ado, let's go ahead and jump right in to match number one.
People, I would
Alright
abuse
folks,
that.
welcome back to another episode of Casting Conflicts here. We've got vesaven taking on Allensis today, of course joined by Tweakin here on the Coke and in the commentary booth. Tweakin, how you doing tonight for this?
Doing pretty good.
Doing pretty good?
Feeling pretty good. Yeah, I'm liking this matchup.
So, Vase is rocking the Pirate Druid up against the Mystic Rats of Alan. Of course, Alan's been on a very dominant streak lately here, at least
Right.
this month, providing with Mystic Rats. And, you know, he's taken, I think, maybe one game loss out of the few series he's played, which is quite interesting
It's
here.
a strong deck. It's a strong deck. It is a very strong deck. I really enjoy blue-green. Now, green-white, this could be a good combo, and we already see Alan pull a Sea Witch, which is fantastic for his deck style. You know, being able to pop out those two little skeletons at any point in time in the match. It's going to really put vesaven kind of play more defensively these next couple of turns before he's able to bring out that centaur. Then you have to choose whether to take out the rat hobble or the serpent or the Sea Witch.
Certainly a big factor to kind of think about there. I mean, on the bright side, he does have the Rat Hobble of his own. So I think the Sea Witch might be more of a priority because he can continue to trade off his own rats with Alan's rats, kind of making, you know, that whole process kind of negate each other. But we'll see if that's going to be the case for long here. As we see Alan going for Blacksmith, we might see him go into, oh, okay, Sea Witch not going after the Lumber Bait, which is fine. Basically, we'll probably take that to go into his Centaur, I assume.
I was surprised that vesaven didn't opt to mulligan his Grendel at the starting hand and was willing to kind of hold that turn 5. He was very lucky to be able to top deck that Lumberjack, but now we're going to see a Temple of the Five Gods come out, and this is where things are going to really start to ramp up here.
And this is the point where it gets dangerous, folks. As anyone who's kind of watched Alan's games recently, you know that he sets up Blacksmith, he sets up Temple, and that's sort of the leeway into the combo that is Rat King Mystic Journey. So we'll see if he's got it in hand. 5 cards for his next turn. Any one of those 5 could be the 2 cards he needs, but we'll just have to see. I don't like the positioning from Vesa here. If it is the Rat King Mystic, obviously you're putting those rats as prime food.
It is.
We'll see Lumberjack for draw cycles. Still have enough gold to pull off the combo, so Vesa's not out of it just yet. Rat's making a little bit of a trade here. Not enough to kill the Grendel.
Him moving the Blacksmith shows me that he's going to play Rat King here. Yeah.
Does play Rat King. Question is, does Mystic Journey follow? If it does,
I want to be surprised.
No, yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
He seems to just have it at every particular moment here. I'm actually surprised that he doesn't actually take out the hovel with this maneuver. He should have left one of those rats alive or hit one of those rats first to make the chain connection. So Vase is going to keep a small rat here, but I don't think it's going to matter in the long run. We see he's pretty far down at this point, and green-white does not carry the best AoE removal for this kind of situation.
Exactly. Then you have the likes of, you have 2 Grendels in your hand, which not only are going to take out only 1 rat at this time, but it's also going to buff another rat or another unit, and you can't really afford that at this point in time. Already kind of your back's against the wall. You have the Temple of the Five Gods out. You're going to lose the rat hobble, and now you're going to buff up one of these rats.
I don't know. It's not lethal, is it?
It's not lethal.
Well, just short.
Oh, no.
Actually, no, it is lethal.
No, it is. It is.
Yeah,
Oh,
he uses
Quick
the Grendel
math.
rat.
Quick math.
God. So, yeah, that's game number 1. A quick and handy win for Alan. Mystic Rats, folks. Again, nothing to really be surprised about, because this is what we've seen a lot of Alan do with these recent series. Literally cleaning up games on the backs of just, hey, the 2-card combo that is Rat King Mystic Journey. And it's just devastating to kind of lose to it, too, because, I mean, nothing that you can really do as a player to block for it either.
Yeah. I don't know. A player if they're going to play Alan, they have to figure out a counter to Rat King, but I truly don't think that there is a counter for it, because you can't really prepare there's no way to stop it. I mean, if he's going to play Rat King Mystic Journey, that he's going to be able to play it. There's no like, all right, I'll probably set up my units this way so he can't play it, but there's really no option of stopping it. So what I think the best option to counter this deck would either be a full rush and kind of, just put Allen on the back heels and don't let him have the option to kind of sit back and build up, or just go for straight no interaction deck and kind of burn off everything that he plays and just hope to God that even if he does play Rat King, he'll only hit your castle, depending on how he plays his Rat King, he'll only hit your castle for 2 damage, and then you'll just quickly Flamestorm or Dragon's Fire.
Certainly the case. So, with that being said, how about we head back to both the players, though, because I think Vase is getting a little impatient with us here. So, let's just go ahead and jump back down to them then. Alright, folks, and welcome back. Game number 1 in the books here. And Alan, picking up yet another win here for yourself. You want to talk us through that match? I mean, it seemed to go pretty straightforward, pretty textbook for you. But why not take us through that, see how you were thinking against the Druid Pirate?
Yeah, so the Druid Pirate, I knew I wasn't going to get a whole lot of value out of my Sea Witch when I first got it. I figured I'd just get it centered off. But I knew I could set up the buffs to get the Rat King Mystic, because I got that turn 4. I had both of those turn 4, so I figured I'd set up the Blacksmith, the Temple, and I just use the Sea Witch to keep him from pushing me as hard, because then if he doesn't push me, he can't get rid of the buildings. And then the Sea Witch stalled until he killed it, and then by the time he killed it, I had Rat King Mystic Journey in his face.
Gotcha. So, I mean, you just kind of explain it yourself, but again, pretty straightforward matchup for you. It seemed like nothing that really went your way.
Feel free not to answer this, Alan. It seems like you never brick in these games. It seems like you never brick. How many?
No, it just seems like the little boy always brings out the
How many cards that costs more than 5 are in your deck? And that's why I say feel free not to answer, because I don't want to give up too information.
I'm gonna go through my deck real quick.
Because it just seems like you have a play every turn, and it's the right play.
So I run 3 temples, 5, and then more than 5, it's only 9 cards. 3 mercenaries.
Okay, so this is more like, early game. Make sure you get your stuff down early, and you're not really worried about late game. This is more early mid game. Okay. Now it makes sense why Alan never bricks. Because I'm just like, man, dude, he just has a move every turn. It's like, and he plays a lot of these casting conflicts, and I've never seen him once skip 2 turns in a row, and it's just amazing.
Certainly, but
I also run 6 draw cards.
Oh.
Okay.
All right. Well, going over to the other side of things now, of course, Vesa bringing in the Pirate Druid. What were your thoughts going up against the Pirate Viking? Were you expecting Mystic Rat right away? Did you have the idea, or maybe were you expecting something different? Just take us through that matchup for you.
Yeah, I think a lot of times when you're facing the Pirate Viking deck that you have to expect the Mystic Rat combo, and that's absolutely what I ran into.
Certainly. I mean, did you have any idea that your deck was going to provide some kind of matchup against it, or did you just kind of know going into it, all right, I'm already at a disadvantage? Is there, and did you think of anything that you could do to kind of put the game in your favor?
Yeah, I mean, I always try and approach a match, thinking that I have a way to win. But unfortunately, I would just say that Alan kind of had, the nuts or close to the nuts, and I had an average hand, and I just got rolled over,
Right.
Now, I understand in your starting hand, I understand why you kept the Centaur, because maybe you want to take out a Rat Hobble pretty early, and you may fear that you may not see that Centaur the rest of the game if you decided to switch it out. But my question is, why did you decide to keep the Grendel?
First of all, I was playing second. And it turned out that I drew a lot of Grendels,
Right.
In retrospect, perhaps I should not have kept the Grendel. I feel like the keeping of the Centaur was the correct play, and that turned
Yeah,
out,
yeah.
to work out well. But I probably, and mulliganing is very important. I probably should have gone for some lower cost units. Um,
I mean, it was nice that you top decked a lumberjack, but very often does that ever happen.
right, yeah. So, if I were able to do things over again, then probably that wasn't the correct decision. So, um, most of the time, five gold plus cards are not good to keep in your hand.
Right. Now, I have one last question for Alan. Have you ever considered running T-Rex in your deck to kind of like propel your units straight to the castle?
I've thought about it a few times just because T-Rex is a funny card, and I have a few of them. But the thing is, I have Rat King Mystic Journey, and that's often the propelling I need, just because the rats can be placed like they were already placed a turn before, and two of them can hit castle on the first turn that it's played.
Right.
And so it's got enough momentum, and like you said earlier, I never brick, and I wouldn't want to add the Tyrannosaurus just a potential early game brick.
Exactly. If your deck's working out for you, don't change it. So, just thought I asked. Just thought I asked because in my deck I run T-Rex, and it seems like it helps me out if I am bricking on the Mystic Journey. Then I can kind of use this as my own version of Mystic Journey.
All right, but
yeah.
But with that said, I believe we can now jump into game number 2 then, if we're ready. All right.
We're ready.
All right. So with that being said, game number 2 right now.
Because
All right,
he's got the heels.
All right. Well, I mean, I turned on the button. So welcome back, folks. Game number 2. Jumping in now, of course, Vesa brings out the Crusader Warlock combination. We kind of already got a peek at what Vesa's running here. A bit of knights. Does he have lifesteal here too, or is it just?
He has right. I'm not sure if he runs. I think this is more going to be a knight based deck with Lumi. So hopefully he can kind of get one of his knights in deep and play Lumi and kind of take out all the rat hovels, all the blacksmith, bat bards, armories.
Right. Okay.
And he's going to have the likes of blue fire bolts to get rid of. Oh, speaking of the devil, we see Alan finally skip a turn.
Jeez, really happy about that. But yeah, so obviously Vesa's running a lot of strong counteractions to what Alan's got.
Another freaking sea witch.
God, cards like Dragon's Fire, Blue Firebolt, the Lumi potentially in here as well. So there are options for Vesa to work with here, and we're gonna see.
I actually would have kept on to that Blue Firebolt. I would have used that on a rat hovel, and because you have Dragonfire in your back pocket. And you just have to, and you can move your questing knight, move it around for one turn, and then you just have to survive to turn 5 and then coin out into a Dragon's Fire.
I mean, Alan actually put a pretty hefty amount into that question knight. When you look at it, Dragon Knight comes out, Dragon Knight has to trade into it. Faithful Drake is severely weakened, so I mean things might be looking up for Vesa in this matchup here. I mean he's got a healthy hand, he's got Alan on the ropes here. Alan doesn't have any setup. Usually by turn 5 he's at least got a hovel blacksmith from what the previous games have foretold.
Right.
But yeah, no, I mean I think he's struggling this game, and I think you might have sort of called out his bricks here.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he puts a temple down here this turn and kind of just plays defensively, set up for the next turn to take out this lifesteal unit.
Right. Certainly a possibility there.
You got to imagine vesaven probably has a Dragon's Fire in his hand, and he hasn't used his coin yet, so turn 5 will be lethal if he plays any unit.
Right. Well, we'll see an armory go down instead, not the card that we were hoping for. We'll see if vesaven takes the trade, though, against the Faithful Drake. He's got Bard in his hand, but looks to go with Furnace Knight, ? Okay. Certainly an option there. And, of course, no fear in Alan's deck means that Furnace Knight won't be doing harm to you anytime soon. Now, how do you feel about the Furnace Knight, though, honestly, coming out from base here? It's quite the underrated unit here, but how do you feel about it?
It is. You don't really see a lot of Furnace Knight being played, but I actually enjoy the Furnace Knight. 4 attack, it's pretty good, and also the 7. and not only to mention you got the 2 damage from his little fire.
Oh.
And we're going to see this is going to be a pretty good play here. He's going to get a lot of value out of this Dragon's Fire. But maybe Allen was, baiting the Dragon's Fire.
Maybe, but then again, not sure if the emote would have signified anything different here. Maybe wanted to move that Drake in for more defense, except he misclicked there. It does give Vase the opportunity to kind of plant that Drake on face here. Clearly, Allen's going to be able to get rid of it here. We see the Mordock come out, followed up by, or at least the Faithful Drake should be followed up by the, what's it called? I'm missing the name. Mordock.
Yeah, Mordock in there.
I mean, we see that Vase has got an option here. Oh, or maybe not. Allen smartly removing the Headless from the situation. I'm not sure if Vesa wants to expose that he's got a Mordock or Krax in hand yet, but then again, doesn't maybe want to give Allen the opportunity to smack face with that Mordock. We'll see which approach he takes here. And a Lightning Blade kind of changes things up. Allen does get rid of the Kraxus, and Mordock does land on face, which would be immensely bothersome for Vesa.
Yeah, we're going to see an Armory go down.
Alright. We'll see a Banshee. So both the low rolls for Allen, which is nice for Vesa. Obviously, you're not going to get to see the big boy that is Wraith in this game, which I think is what he was hoping for, honestly.
You see, now he's hoping for a Lumi. You got all that value down there.
You do. You have immense value there. Although I think your priority should be getting rid of this Banshee first.
I would sack the books. You have a full hand. You don't really need the draw from the books.
He needs Bard, though, too, and that's 6 already. So
yeah.
You can play Lumberjack and just, follow up with that.
You can play Bard, Lumberjack. You can play Armor. Lumberjack. Or you can go with the Furnace Knight.
Yeah, looks like we go with the Furnace Knight. All right, that is certainly.
And then he might play. He's gonna hope to kind of
bank off Lumi, maybe.
Yeah.
Might be the idea.
This would be pretty big if he pulls it off. I want to say Allen is he's seeing all these knights. He probably knows a Lumi is going to happen sometime.
No, don't do this to him. Don't do this to him.
God, dude. You just know it's just a matter of time.
It really is, and it's so disappointing too, because there's nothing here that Vesa could have done to prevent this. I mean, Dragon's Fire for sure here would have been incredible, and he might draw it. But
now it doesn't even kill the Rat King.
It doesn't. You have the lumberjack.
So now,
you have the lumberjack. It's okay.
Oh yeah, true. Oh god.
Still draw into it. Come on,
Let's
lumberjack. Go. Come on. Lumberjack.
For the gods.
It's okay. We have another chance.
Hey.
Rat King. So come on.
Let's see a game 3.
Game 3.
Or game 2. Game 2's fine. That works with me. Oh my god. Oh man.
No.
We didn't see a Dragon's Fire. We didn't see a Lumi. A Lumi.
Yeah, and that's kind of the.
I'm having problems with my LUMs today. A Lumberjack.
But yeah, unfortunately, it looks like not going to be vesaven's day here. Vesa does not claim the champion spot above Yoda in this match. Instead, picks up his second L, I believe, for his casting conflicts, which is a shame. But then again, it just seems like, we keep mentioning to you, Allen picks up the right cards the right time, and he always just seems to have that mystic combo in his back pocket ready to spring at you at your, the moment where you never want to see it.
Right.
So
I think this just boils down to show you how powerful of a play Mystic Rat King is with Mystic Journey.
He's gone through 4 opponents this month, each claiming a series win with the Mystic combo.
I would love to see his next opponent. Everyone's kind of taken a different stance, maybe more defensively, more mid-late game. I would love to see an opponent go straight at Allen. I would love to see a rush deck go straight at his face and make him use Rat King Mystic Journey more defensively rather than offensively.
Right.
Someone's just gotta switch it up. The way that we're attacking Allen is clearly not working, so we need to switch it up. And I love it how it's like a challenge to beat Allen right now. It's like all right, guys, we're doing something wrong. We need to go back to the drawing board. We need to do something. He can't keep winning.
Well,
But
I
you know,
mean, with that being said, I think we can head back to both players now, see how they're feeling after game number 2, and see how Alan feels about blocking off vesaven from his championship status.
let's do it.
All right, folks, and back after Matt game number 2 here, and that does bring us to the end of the series. Alan picks up yet another win here. How'd you feel going up against the Warlock Crusader? I mean, obviously, when you think about it, AOE is probably your biggest rival. So how'd you approach this matchup?
So I knew he'd just be running Dragon's Fire, and that's one of the biggest counters to my deck. That and double Flamestorm can do serious damage to all the rats, and Flamestorms can destroy the buildings pretty fast. But when I saw him waste the Dragon's Fire on the Dragon Knight and Elvish Thief, that made me kind of happy because I knew I could rush a Rat King Mystic Journey and not fear the Dragon's Fire as much. And despite him having pretty much a max hand if you count the 2 Lumberjack draws, he could not pull off another Dragon's Fire. He did not draw it. So when I saw he was scrambling with the Lumberjacks, that kind of made me know I secured the win.
Right, and we were kind of just expecting maybe some kind of second Dragon's Fire pull off the Lumberjacks. That would have probably been enough to at least clear the board here. But, I mean, we also noticed, I think, well, just kind of curious on this one here. I noticed that you moved the Fatal Drake above. You emoted out that you didn't mean to do that. You just have a misclick moment on your part over there.
When I emoted out that I didn't mean to do that, I think there's something else that I was afraid of.
You
That
had
wasn't even
the...
Mystic.
You
That
had
wasn't even Dragon's Fire.
Well, I mean, you had the Elvish Thief, you had the Dragon Knight, both weakened from a White Knight engagement. I mean,
Yeah.
they killed off the White Knight, but then you kind of moved the Faithful Drake up, like right above your castle.
Yeah, I could have put the Faithful Drake in the other spot. That would have been better.
Okay.
I don't remember exactly what I was saying. I didn't mean to do that, but there was some way I could have played it better, not even expecting a Dragon's Fire. But honestly, that was probably better that I played it in the wrong position because it got him to waste the Dragon Fire. If he
Mhm.
doesn't get castle damage there, I think there's a. I don't think he uses Dragon's Fire if there's no castle damage.
Right. So that's gonna be it for me. Twegan, have anything for Alan before we jump over to Vesa?
No, I thought early game, I thought I kind of spoke it into existence about you bricking. Like I saw you skip turn 2, and I was like, oh my god, did I just do this, man? Did I just do it to this poor man? Because I'm sure Red knows. We've had a couple of times where we both spoke some cards into existence, and it's just kind of funny. But yeah, no, I don't really have any questions for Alan. It's kind of it was kind of clear cut and dry, and kind of all his movements. He made all the correct movements. There was no real I guess there was a better move he could have done, or I don't agree with that play. Like he just played it to a T and it showed out.
Right. Right. But yeah, certainly agree with you there. But going on to the other side now, Vesa, you had what we assumed to be Warlock Crusader Knights, correct?
Correct.
And
We didn't need to assume.
I'm
We had half the deck were Knights.
all right. I'm trying to be nice here, but the idea was that we were kind of expecting maybe a Lumi from you, or something along those lines. So were you going into the match like hoping for maybe a Lumi, so that way maybe you could take out some of the back row, things like maybe armories, blacksmiths, or hovels that kind of got in your way with that, as opposed to not only just carrying in the Dragon's Fire?
Yeah, for sure. Like I definitely wanted to pick a Warlock deck, with Dragon's Fire. And I was kind of torn in between 2 options, and I decided to go with the Knights deck. And like was mentioned before, probably I did use the Dragon's Fire a little bit too early, but all in all, my opponent Alan, he played very well, and utilized all of his cards to his maximum potential, and just was that's a very strong deck that he's playing, and he piloted it very well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just have a couple of questions. One, I was curious about why you wasted the blue firebolt on the Sea Witch rather than just let the Sea Witch live, because eventually that was going to die off by the Dragon's Fire, and you could have used that blue firebolt for maybe like an armory or yeah, exactly. Were you just not thinking that far ahead? You were kind of just thinking, oh god, let's just get this unit out of the way. I have the resources now. Might as well just use it while I
Right.
can.
Yeah, I think a lot of my type of play style is trying to develop like an early advantage, and maybe like that like doesn't always translate into the most optimal plays.
Hmm.
But the way that I was looking at it at the time is, removing that sea bitch was, the best way that I could gain like an early advantage, and I was trying to kind
Exactly.
of get under, you know. And I think that, my play style a lot of times, I think a lot of times that, trying to get under your opponent and develop that early advantage does pay off. But as you guys saw, I was a little bit too liberal with my card usage, and instead of maybe making the game like more competitive later on, instead like I just wasn't able to recover from everything that Alan was throwing out.
Exactly. We see a lot of players now kind of are hesitant to make those trades. Like maybe they see a blue firebolt and they say, okay, I'm going to reserve this card for a building, and maybe they go 7, 6 turns without seeing a single building. Then they're like, well, shit, I should have used this blue firebolt when I can. Now it's pretty much
Mm-hmm.
useless. So in some
Yeah,
situations, you gotta use a blue firebolt when you can. Like you have the resources. Yes,
well, that just shows how complex this game is.
right.
I've been playing this game for years and years and years, and I still make bad decisions,
Mhm.
Um, but even if I made the right decisions, that's not to say that Alan still wasn't going to win,
Right.
Um, like he played very well, and I've got the maximum amount of respect for him because I can't he maybe made that one emote where he said that he might have made a mistake, but um he played very close to the optimal just the best level that he could. So
Yeah, me and Red were talking. We were speaking on like why these two games basically shows why Rat King is so dangerous. Because
mhm,
if you're playing Rat King, there's really no counter to stop the player from playing Rat King. If he wants to play it, or Rat King Mystic Journey, if he wants to play it, he's going to be able to play it. Like there's no setting up to your
right.
turn before he even playing Rat King where you can kind of like negate him from stopping. Like he's going to play it
Yeah,
regardless.
and
So
he was able to lay the tempo on both games we played down before he did the Rat King Mystic Journey, and
right.
that's just devastating. It's really hard to counter, and unless you play perfectly and and really get a good hand, that's why that Mystic Rats is one of the top tier decks, is because it's just so hard to overcome that combination.
Right. And my last question before I hand it over to Red is that other deck that you were curious about. Uh, was that going to be a rush deck? Was that a rush type deck?
Yeah, the
Mm.
other deck that I thought about playing actually is not a rush deck.
Oh.
It's Warlock Druids with a lot of lifelink.
Hmm.
Um and it runs a couple of flame storms as well as the Dragon's Fire.
Okay.
And that might have been the better deck. It's hard to say
It
because the
is
night deck that I chose, runs Lumi and Dragon's Fire, but the other deck runs, you know,
Flamestorm.
yeah, exactly. So it was kind of a toss up, and I ended up going with the Knights deck, and you
Did
know,
you have any heals in that deck outside of
heals.
Claire?
No, I don't really. I might have. Um, Sometimes I like to run one of the Arbiter's Return in those types of decks, and I'm pretty sure the Knights deck does have one Arbiter's Return.
Hmm.
Um, but in
It's more often.
general,
It's more
like
often than not. Like if you're playing heals, like you're pretty much like your back's against the wall at that point, and that's probably
Yeah, and
like times
m-
2 turns.
my play style is to be aggressive. So trying to sit back and rely on heals is, not the way that I feel comfortable playing.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So, with that being said, I believe Tweaking, you got out everything that you've wanted to mention, right?
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
Nope, I'm
So,
good.
with that being said, another series concludes here. Another series goes into the books, and like always, we'll throw it out to my future self to close out this video. Alright folks, with that being said, I hope you did enjoy this edition of Casting Conflicts. Let us know what you thought of the matches, leaving your thoughts down in the comment section below. And of course, while you're down there, if you haven't done so already, be sure to like the video if you enjoyed it, share with friends, and of course, subscribe if you are new or haven't done so already. It is the best way that you can support us here on the channel. And yeah, that's going to do it for me for now. So, until next time guys, stay gaming.